Hi, I'm Ansajwat, and I will be doing the book review for Hands-on Machine Learning by Aurelian Giro. Um, a little bit about myself. I'm a junior year student at University of San Francisco. For further details, for contact, they are all mentioned in the description below. Um, this video is going to be about chap review of chapter 1 and the contents that are presented in chapter 1. This is famous quote by David Waters. A baby learns to crawl, walk, and then run. We are in the crawling stage when it comes to applying machine learning. With this quote, I would like to start my review for chapter 1. One of the most important questions that are answered in the first chapter is what is machine learning? And the answer the author provides is machine learning is the science and the art of programming computers so they can learn from data. A more generalized definition is provided by author Samuel, in which he states that machine learning is the field of study that provides computers the ability to learn without being specifically programmed for it. Um, it is a more generalized definition. Four types of problem where machine learning is used are: number one is the problems for which existing solution requires a lot of hand tuning or a long list of rules. One machine learning algorithm can often simplify code and perform better. For example, um, the spam email folder. You can have a long set of rules that if you find these words in the email, mark them as spam. But as the time goes on, the spam emails change patterns, so your list of rules will also increase, and it will require a lot of hand tuning. So machine learning can be used in those areas. Another one will be the complex problems for which there is no good solution at all using traditional method. The best machine learning techniques can find a solution. Again, spam folder is the best example for this, um, in that we use machine learning to categorize email, whether it's a spam or ham. Um, Another one will be fluctuating environments. A machine learning system can adapt to new data. The prime example will be stock market, the price of cars, price of automobiles. All of those will come under this section. Getting insights about complex problems with large amounts of data. In this, the example would be a blog post. For example, you have a blog website and you get number of visitors. Now those visitors can be of any age group, of any particular liking or any particular set. Those kind of problems will be solved under this section about finding more details about the people who visit your website. Now, to do all of these in machine learning requires a lot of training data. And one of the types of data is called label training set. What does it mean? It means in supervised learning, the training data you feed to the algorithm includes the desired solution called labels. A good example will be again spam classification. Machine learning can be divided into four parts: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Now, the common tasks that are done under these types of learning can vary different. For example, the common tasks that are performed under supervised learning are like spam filtering and target numeric value. For example, the price of the car or stock market. Some unsupervised learning tasks will be again blog visitors to the 3D representation of data, uh, dimensionality reductions, and you can read about them in the slide, which means the goal is to simplify the data without losing too much information, anomaly detection, and association rule learning. Now, before we go into the next section, I want to talk about reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is the idea to observe the environment, select and perform actions and get rewards in return or penalties in form of negative rewards. It must then learn by itself and what is the best strategy called a policy to get most reward over time. The best example would be robots. Robots are built on the idea of reinforcement learning. Now, just a quick question of what we have seen so far. What type of algorithm would you use to segment your customers into multiple groups? Take a few seconds, you can pause the video. Um, One, two. The correct answer will be unsupervised learning, and the algorithm which we will use under unsupervised learning will be clustering. Another question for you guys would be, would you frame the problem of spam detection as a supervised learning problem or an unsupervised learning problem? It will be a supervised learning because we will provide a labeled training set to build the algorithm for spam folders. Now, another idea is online learning system. Now, what is an online learning system? In online learning system, you train the system incrementally by feeding it data instances sequentially, either individually or by small groups called mini batches. Each learning step is fast and cheap, so the system can learn about new data on the fly as it arrives. Now, what is out of core learning? An out of core learning is an online learning algorithm, can also be used to train system on huge data sets that cannot fit in machine's main memory. This is called out of core learning. Now, what type of learning algorithm relies on similarity measures to make predictions? There are two um, types of learning algorithm that depends on similarity measures to make prediction. Those are instance-based learning and model-based learning. And just to wrap this chapter up, one of the final points the author talks about are the major challenges that machine learning faces. And there are four major challenges: insufficient quantity of training data, unreasonable effectiveness of data, non-representative training data, and poor quality of data. Um, these are like the major challenges faced by machine learning today. And this is one of the most interesting facts that I found about having a wrong kind of data set was, and perhaps the most famous example of sampling bias. It happened during the US presidential election in 1936, which pitted Lyndon against Roosevelt. It literally uh, just conducted a very large poll, sending mail to about 10 million people. It got 2.4 million answers and predicted with high confidence that Lyndon would get 57% of the votes. Instead, Roosevelt won with 62% of votes. And I would, with this, I would like to end my review for chapter one. Um, Thank you so much for joining, and hope you have a good week. The review for chapter two will probably be out next week. Thank you.